Look at this beauty. This is a £200 East Coast guitar. They're quite good out of the box, in fairness. They're probably one of the better £200 guitars I've ever played, especially a Les Paul style. So I'm going to go through 3 mods. One of them's going to make it feel better, one's going to make it sound better, and one's just going to make it better. The first one's free, and that's tuners. All cheap guitars. They all come with terrible tuners. Ones that I found recently, I mean, with a Les Paul, I would put on a set of Grovers, which are about £60. They're my favourite. I've put them on my Gibson SG. They're not actually on my Les Paul because I thought I'd have something different. But my last 2 Les Pauls, I put Grovers on. But they're about £60. What I would recommend, though, are a set of Geica tuners. These lot don't seem to have any social media presence, but you can buy them on Amazon. They're about £22, £25. I've been putting them on a lot of guitars. So I've put them on this East Coast. You can get different kinds. They fit all sorts of guitars. Well, they fit your East Coast Les Paul, other styles of Les Paul. They fit your Strats, your Tellys. You got the vintage style. And you just do every kind of pickup. Every kind of guitar. They're locking, which means you put the strings in, turn it. You got locking tuners. They feel good, and they're like £25. I mean, if you can afford the Grovers, spend the £60 on the Grovers. They don't lock though, so well, it's up to you. But these, I mean, I've got a set here. These are going on a Chapman on my friend's guitar. He bought these. Here's another set here. Can't remember what they're for. Either a Strat or a Telly. I can't remember. I've got a few mods going on. I put one on that Sire S3, a set of Geica tuners. £25. Makes it feel better. Keeps it in tune. When you turn it, it tightens or loosens rather than just doing nothing. You get that with cheap tuners. Anyway, Geica tuners, £25. To make your Les Paul sound miles better, the problem with Les Pauls, especially around £200, I would say any guitar around 500 or less, apart from the Sire 7 series. Now the Sire L7, I imagine that doesn't have the problem I'm about to go into, but everything else, bar pretty much nothing I've ever seen, will have pretty terrible humbuckers if they are covered. Now, if they're covered humbuckers, so they've got this chrome cover, looks pretty, they sound terrible. The reason is they put a brass cover on it. Why have they done that? Because brass is half the price of nickel. So take those covers off. And if you take those off, I've got a video on it. I'll put it in the description and the box at the end. To take the covers off, it's probably 15 minutes work, and it just opens up the pickup. You get all that high end back that you've lost putting on these cheap pickups. They basically make them as cheap as possible. You lose all the high end. It's not cool. And I know you're looking at this thinking, well, that's got covers. Well, in the video I'm going to link, what I do is I put some nickel silver covers on, and I show you the difference putting the correct parts on. So to put the covers on, the correct covers, they're about £11 a cover, so it costs you £22. I would say it's worth doing that because it's cheaper to spend £22 upgrading your cheap pickups and making them sound like high-end pickups than it is to buy a set of, I would say the minimum for a good set of humbuckers is about £100. The cheapest I've come across is Tone Riders that are all built properly. In fact, what I'll do, I'm going to play this and I'm going to shoot these out. So these are the stock pickups. This is a £200 guitar. I'm going to shoot this out in a second against, that's a Gibson Les Paul. So that's 2,000 odd pounds worth of guitar. The pickups, probably £250. So this, including the mods, is cheaper than that set of pickups. Let's have a listen to see how it sounds. Right, I'm going to play clean on the neck to begin with and then driven on the bridge. This is how some pickups that came in a £200 guitar that I spent £35 upgrading sound compared to a Gibson Les Paul. So should you spend £2 grand on a Les Paul? Yeah, you probably should. They sound fantastic. But should you spend £35 upgrading your cheap guitar? Yeah, you should also do that. Then you've got 2 guitars and they both sound good. And if you're wondering, well, how did that sound compare to the original pickups? I'm going to play a clip now so you can hear how it sounded before and after doing that, because that's helpful. the third thing I'd recommend doing would be changing electronics. What comes inside it is a little bit embarrassing. In fact, what you should do is also copper shield this. I haven't bothered for some reason, but a roll of copper shielding tape is about £5, and if you're going to take everything out, you may as well tape around it. I'll put a link in the description. I've got a roll of it there. I don't know why I didn't do that. Anyway, this is an obsidian wire harness. Now, this is £88. Take out all your electrics, put this in, it slots straight in place. There's no soldering. I can tell you now, the first, I would say it was definitely the first 5 guitars, but probably the first 10 that I wired, none of them worked. I had to take them all to shops, pay money, definitely more than £88, to get them sorted because I'd just done it wrong. This, you drop it in, there's a picture, it's solderless. You poke it, the bits, the pickup cables, in these little joints, and then you have a completely new guitar setup. It's also got these switches inside, so you can switch between 50s and 60s wire, and you can do that per pickup. 2 different sounds, means your guitar does a lot more. 60s is a bit more treble bleedy type thing, so if you roll down the volume, you don't lose that high end, but there's also 50s wiring, so it depends what you want. You might want a different sound per pickup, and if you change your mind, you don't have to rewire it, you just flick a switch. Now you can buy these, this is on like a PCB, you can buy these pre-wired, which I often do, even though I can wire, I just can't be bothered to do it half the time because it's a lot quicker. But it's about £60 for a harness thing, but every other one you can buy just does one setting. This does 2, and you have to know how to solder to do the other ones. This comes with the jack socket, it comes with the switch. In fact, it comes with an awful lot for £88. It didn't take long to do at all. And if you're going to do all the pickup stuff, you may as well do the electrics at the same time. It costs no money. So all up, £88 for the electrics, £35 for this. So let's say that's 140. The tune is 50, 60, 70, £170. You can sell what came in it. You might get a bit of money back for that because you don't need the stuff that came out of it. It's definitely worth doing. This is a fantastic guitar. Obviously subscribe because we're going to do this. Well, we do this all the time anyway, but we've got a telly there we can do stuff on, a Strat there we can do a load of stuff on. We modify guitars. Leave comments if there's anything you want us to modify. Leave a comment and we'll look into whether or not we should do it because it's kind of cool to do different wiring things. And I would say that's pretty much all you need to do to a Les Paul style guitar. Nothing else is a problem. If you've changed all the electronics, upgraded the pickups so they're better, what I'm saying, £35 to change the covers, you can't get a good set of pickups for £35. Ignore what everyone says on forums. They're talking absolute rubbish. You cannot do it. You can't even make a good... You can't even get the parts for £35. So do this to your pickups or buy a set of tone riders. I always recommend tone riders because it's like the minimum you can spend to have the absolute top quality components. You know, scatter wound. They're all precise specs of the top pickups. We've shot them out against some, you know, Fender Custom Shop, Gibson Les Pauls, some Monty's pickups. I love Gibson pickups, I love Monty's pickups, but for £100 for a set of tone riders, if you're too scared to take the pickup covers off, or just take the pickup covers off, it costs nothing. You know, if it goes wrong and doesn't work, throw them away and then buy a set of tone riders. You've lost nothing. And watch this video where I do all the mods on this Strat. Now this was Sunburst to begin with. This is a Sire S3. They're quite good. The Sire S7s are definitely a lot better. I was trying to sort of upgrade it to a Sire S7. I would say I've managed that. And now it's nitrocellulose shoreline gold. It looks absolutely fantastic. Save yourself a load of money.